In a recent address, Chip Roy, a prominent political figure, voiced his concerns regarding the Democratic Party's approach to climate change and its potential implications for both the U.S. military and the Veterans Administration, VA. His remarks, delivered during discussions about the MILCON VA appropriations bill, centered on several key points: restrictions on climate-related funding. Chip Roy commended the amendment that prohibits the use of funds from the MILCON VA appropriations bill to implement President Biden's executive orders on climate change. He drew attention to a similar amendment he had proposed and successfully adopted concerning the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA. Military and the VA should maintain a singular focus, emphasizing their core missions rather than pursuing climate-related initiatives. His argument underscored the belief that the U.S. critique of climate initiatives. The core of Roy's critique revolved around his perception that climate initiatives were diverting resources and attention away from the primary responsibilities of the military and the Virginia. He contended that prioritizing climate goals over veterans' care could undermine national security, which veterans had sworn to protect. Roy specifically highlighted the VA's Climate Action Plan, which included measures like climate literacy for employees, promoting renewable energy consumption, constructing sustainable buildings, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions at VA facilities. Impact on the general public. Roy expressed concern that the VA's transition of its vehicle fleet to zero emissions could indirectly affect the American public. He argued that such transitions could limit the availability and affordability of internal combustion engine vehicles for ordinary citizens. This limitation, in his view, was a result of policies favoring battery-powered vehicles reliant on minerals mined in Africa, where child labor and exploitation were prevalent. Dependency on unreliable energy sources. Chip Roy contended that the United States was risking energy dependency on China by heavily investing in unreliable renewable energy sources while failing to advance reliable alternatives. He pointed out that China had a significantly higher number of coal-fired plants compared to the U.S., and they continued to build more at a rapid pace. Had struggled to construct new nuclear plants since the 1970s due to regulatory obstacles. In contrast, the U.S. VA's role and democratic agenda. Roy argued that the VA should primarily focus on its core mission of providing health care and benefits to veterans. He criticized Democratic colleagues for seemingly believing that VA hospitals could rely solely on wind and solar energy. He emphasized the necessity of fossil fuels and nuclear power, both of which were being hindered by regulatory complexities. He accused Democrats of attempting to promote a radical left climate agenda within the VA, diverting it from its intended purpose. In summary, Chip Roy's speech highlighted his concerns about the impact of Democratic climate initiatives on the U.S. military, the VA, and the general public. He argued that prioritizing climate goals over core missions and failing to invest in reliable energy sources could have adverse consequences for national security and energy independence.